These my dance make it hurt.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Project Passion, the podcast made to inspire you to follow your passion and turn it into a successful business or career. My name is Johnny Thompson. I own a digital marketing agency based here in the UK, and every week I bring on different guests who have interesting or exciting passions and who are managing to turn that into successful businesses or careers. Now, if it is your first time, come on over and listen to us. Guys, if you're listening, please feel free to hit that follow button. If you do want, you can go watch the video version on YouTube. The link will be in the description below, or you can get it on any of my social channels. You also just go onto YouTube and search Project Passion with Johnny Thompson. You can find it that way. And if you are watching this YouTube version, please, guys, hit like, hit subscribe, turn notifications on. It really does help. And there's going to be a lot more interesting guests coming up, and you will not want to miss them. So on with this week's episode, a little bit different this week. I'm actually recording this bit after recording the podcast because I just had a phone call with a good friend of mine, Asim Hussain from MME London. He did come on episode 8, and we talked about marketing, talked about his agency. But Asim is also a YouTuber. He's also a content creator through there. He has his own channel. He makes gaming videos. He does a lot with Marvel and with like superhero games, stuff like that there. Is super popular online. He has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to it. So I just called him to pick his brain, catch up with him. It had been a while since we talked. And just because, as we usually do, we record our calls no matter when we talk. So we recorded the call, found from talking that it was actually super valuable and a lot of stuff that we thought people might want to hear. So we're using it for this week's episode. And yeah, I'll just shut up now and let's get on with the call. Hope you enjoy, guys.
What's up, Johnny? How's it going?
Hey, there we go. How's it going, man? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Liking the office, dude. It's looking good.
Thank you very much. It's still not even fully finished. There's a lot like artwork pieces and like logos to go on the wall, but getting there bit by bit.
Nice.
Perfect. How's things going for you anyway, man?
Yeah, good, dude. Always trying to think outside, the box.
Yeah.
Dip into newer things. I've got this crazy goal, right? Within the next 12 months, I'm going to try and get featured on Forbes.
Okay.
Because we're basically taking brands online in the sense of onto YouTube, creating them YouTube channels, at the same time earning them revenue from YouTube.
Nice. That's smart.
Yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of people, what I found in the since we last spoke and now doing influencer marketing is a lot of these companies, like it could be any company. I mean, it's different when it's a gaming company or if it's like an actual product company, if you got what I mean.
Yeah.
But what it is they pay so much money for an ad, right? So like, let's say you pay for an integration, and you pay an influencer. It can be anywhere between £7,000 to £1,000 on an average of like 20 to 30,000 views per video. Obviously, the more views they got, the more money it's going to be. But that's like a 60 to 120 second integration. But the thing is, it's like they pay for the ads, or they actually pay for YouTube ads in general. But everyone, first of all, skips YouTube ads. The people would typically call the influencer a sellout. And they've paid all this money, and it's like there's no diversion but to the actual product. So the idea that I've had is, why not actually get it directed to a brand's YouTube channel where they can continue a series from an influencer. At the same time, they get CPM from that. So they're paying me my service charge, but at the same time, they're getting revenue, building their brand online as well. Rather than just, it's like, instead of paying for the ad, that goes before a YouTube video, why don't your entire video just be the ad? Yeah. But it's basically what people have an interest in.
Smart.
So there's a lot of things involved in it, but definitely in the next 12 months. So that's what I'm trying to do.
That's sick, man. That's really good. That's a different direction. Yeah, exactly. That's a different direction as well. Like, it's something I haven't heard. Like, people are like, yeah, we're going to start doing YouTube ads, but no one's trying to take it to another level. Like, no one's trying to develop.
Well, no one's doing the actual YouTube channels. Like, you get a lot of estate agents, for example, right? And let's say the estate agents that sell these massive houses worth like X millions amounts, right? And the houses are really, really nice.
Yeah.
why not do a video on it? Like
Yeah.
what they do in America, you got these real estate agents that just go and do a tour in the house. Why not just build a brand so people are actually interested in the properties you guys have in the first place?
In the first.
Whether or not they're going to buy it or not,
Yeah.
it's just the fact that they like to see that, and you instantly earn a revenue from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Exactly.
it's like YouTube CPM, right? You know, in the finance industry for
Yeah.
YouTube, the CPM is ridiculous. I'll give you an example, right? So let's say an average channel, like a gaming channel, gets a couple million views per month.
Mhm.
You're looking at, on the absolute basic of the basic, work it out like 1 million views is $1,000, give or take, right?
Yeah.
Although that's not always the case. That's going on the absolute entry level. CPMs are normal. Everything's flowing that
Yeah.
right direction. But like typically, like 2.5 million views can escalate to like $8,000, $10,000 more. It depends on the CPM
Wow.
of that content. But for the finance, right, you're looking at $30 CPM, right? So
Shit.
if you've done, let's say, 250,000 views in a month or 300,000 views, you're looking at $8,000 straight away.
Damn.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. Like a lot of people that I follow, or a lot of my peers in general, in the whole YouTube industry,
Mhm.
there's this one guy. His name's Tommy. He used to own a YouTube channel called Novera, which was focused around Call of Duty. Wasn't really doing good. Stuck at it for like 4 years,
Yeah.
and then he basically pushed into owning channels that are typically like a brand. So he created this channel called Top 5 Gaming, Top 5
Okay.
Central, and they blew up like crazy. And he's very much, I mean, like, he's a big time entrepreneur in the sense of it's always about money, right? Which is, you've got to be
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah.
And there's this other YouTuber called Stephen Graham, or Graham Stephen, something like that. And he does finance, and he actually shared the like how much he gets in revenue.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean, he's averaging like 7 to 8 grand a day with
Gee.
right, getting back 200,000 views, 300,000 views a day. And that
Yeah.
stuff's easy in the gaming industry, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's not a lot of people that are consistent enough in the finance. And when they are, these are the types of results they see.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
Because I had heard that like marketing and like if you do like real estate and stuff like that, like and like forex as well, you get like really high CPM for, but then things like just
ridiculous.
vlogging and stuff, like your CPM is going to be abysmal.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, finance is something that we all do. Like, it's especially being a business owner, it's something we all care about, right?
Yeah.
New saying, right? Follow the money, don't follow your heart, because
Yeah.
your heart can actually mislead you.
Exactly.
And see, the
Definitely.
thing is, sometimes you can have an idea and it could be great, but it's not good for the market because no one actually gives a shit about it.
Yeah, that's what I says to people all the time. I'm like, your product's only fucking good if you can sell it. I'm like, it doesn't matter how you get it to market or what anyone says in the process. I'm like, if that product's not going to sell in the long run, it's shit. It ain't shit. Like, the product has to actually win with the consumer and actually be sellable,
Yeah,
regardless of anything else. Doesn't matter how good it looks or how the market is. Like, if people just aren't going to buy that one product, you've already lost. There's already no point in doing it.
yeah, 100%. How's things on your end anyway?
It's going well, man. Yeah. Just
Good. Congratulations on the debt clearance, dude. That's a
thank
big
you.
thing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Feels
definitely a
good.
good
It
feeling.
feels good. Yeah.
100% it feels good. Yeah, it's like I said before, like at the time, like, it wasn't even like happiness, it was more just like relief
Mm.
was a feeling. Like I didn't feel like happy about it. I just felt like fuck, like when I breathed, I was like I could actually hit the bottom of my lungs when I breathe now. Like there's no
Yeah.
like couple of £1,000 of debt just sitting on my shoulders. Like it's good. It's definitely
Of
nice. And it
course.
gives me a bit more freedom as well to kind of like do the things I want to do now as well, and kind of like just like things like I'm doing for fun like this,
Yeah.
as opposed to like really trying to actually drive money from things. It just gives me more sort of time, more money to kind of enjoy and to do the little things that I started this business for in the first place.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
So good that way. And yeah, it's just letting me sort of try little different things. Like why I've got you on to talk about this gaming stuff.
Yeah, dude, you got to dip your toes into different things within your circle still, right? So, and that's why I always say, like, me talking about the Forbes thing, like, it's crazy, right? It's a long, long, long shot. But
Yeah.
I feel like if it's not crazy enough, is it really good enough?
Exactly. And like with this gaming thing, like I don't have intention of like being an esports gamer. Like that's not what I want to
Yeah.
do. My dexterity isn't that good. My reflexes are not that good to be anyway half good as an esports
Well,
gamer.
do you remember Fall Guys, right? There was this dude that was shit. I forgot his name, but he was terrible, couldn't get a win. And he essentially became like this meme for the game, right? And everyone wanted to see him win a game because he was so bad and he was trying really bad as well. But he couldn't win a game, and the views went up like crazy for him. It completely changed his life because he got
Jesus.
the attention. It was entertaining, and he just couldn't do it. So instead of him actually winning, people wanted to see. I
Him
mean,
lose.
people wanted to see. Yeah, people wanted to see him lose, but they wanted to see how he's going to react when he does win.
Right.
But you really need to hop on Facebook Gaming. This is what I said on
Yeah.
your post, right? So Facebook Gaming is huge. Don't miss out on it while it's still new, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
there's 3 guys now that I know that are absolutely killing it. So one dude basically blew up from Fortnite on YouTube.
Yeah.
Went straight 0 to like 300, 400,000 subs through Fortnite alone. Views were like ridiculous. He was like topping over 100,000 almost per video. And then it just flatlined. And when I say it flatlined, I mean big time. It's like the interest just randomly went overnight. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you got chucked out of YouTube's algorithm or what happened, but it happened. And he went from averaging those numbers to getting like 3, 4,000, 2,000 views a video.
Jeez.
So like in terms of revenue, that was like a major
Mhm.
hit. So looking from a third person perspective, I just thought, well, maybe he needs to switch up his content. Maybe it's his content, right?
Yeah.
But I was wrong. So he went onto Facebook Gaming and is pulling in the exact same numbers, if not way more now, as he was on YouTube doing the same content, but on Facebook Gaming, just live streaming.
Yeah.
Um, Another guy I know used to own a FIFA channel. Again, he scaled it up to like 700,000 subs. Um, Views were great, and then it flatlined. Then he went onto Facebook Gaming, and he's blown up on Facebook Gaming. So I'm genuinely starting to see this try, and I think the CPMs are really good on there as well.
Yeah, I had actually seen someone talking about that before in terms of, in fact, it might have been you talking about Facebook gaming in terms of, because it was so new, Facebook was essentially bumping the algorithm. Like people weren't getting that preference of, like, you know, if you go onto Twitch, Ninja's going to be top, right? Like, but
Yeah.
said that essentially Facebook gaming didn't have that. Like Facebook gaming was a clean algorithm. So it was basically completely random. You were going to get more natural, organic views as opposed to like having to drive traffic towards your content.
Well, this is the thing. This is why I would say jump onto it now, because I think in the next 12 months it could possibly change because it's getting bigger and it's obviously getting bigger. I mean, it's like Facebook's marketplace, right? I'll give an example of a situation that where I knew like, fuck, Facebook is extremely powerful without paying for ads in a situation like this. So on the marketplace alone. So I was selling my car earlier this year, and I put it on Auto Trader. Auto Trader, you got to pay like 40 quid for a week or like 60 quid for 2 weeks, and there's like 90 quid just for its lifetime until it sells. So I was like, okay, I'll do the 90 quid option. I kid you not, it was on sale for about 3 months, maybe even 4 months. And like, there's nothing wrong with a car. Like, the car should be of people's interest. And I got probably in total, probably 4 inquiries. One actually came down for a visit. One guy was curious what I did for a living, um, and then start trying to sell me a stock market course.
Oh,
Yeah, really fucking random. Guy starts messaging me at like 11:30 at night, right? And I'm going to my wife, I think he's going to buy the car. And I basically pulled his leg and started talking about crypto, and I started sort of winging it about the stock market. And I just basically drove him into this dead end, right, where he didn't actually have an answer, because like 1 minute he was telling me it's his full-time job, then I found out it's not his full-time job. So I was like, so what do
Oh,
you make from it? And you know, when they're like, oh, I don't make anything from it. You're not just going to teach someone for free,
yeah,
especially me. I don't know who you are. Like, why would you
yeah,
want to do that, right? It's like, don't try to pull my leg. Um, and yeah, like everyone else was just like random, right? It was just like time wasters. Like, they'll offer you like a full amount. I'll pay in cash tomorrow, right?
yeah,
But it's well off the amount you need. So it's like, I'm not
yeah,
going to take it because That's not going to clear my finance.
Exactly.
So it was stupid. Anyway, so then, because my wife would usually put things on Facebook, Facebook's marketplace, like just general like furniture, like whatever we don't need and so forth, and it always like goes straight away, right? So she's like, "Oh, we'll put the car on there," and I was like, "Well, I don't think the car's going to sell on Facebook Marketplace. I just don't think it's going to get the right amount of interest."
Let me guess, it was sold in like a
Fucking
day.
first week.
Yeah.
First week, right? First week, I got like 15 inquiries. Again, 15 inquiries, but the people would just basically weren't meeting my figure, so that wasn't the issue. And then this big time car dealership, and when I say big time, like they sold high performance cars, so like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all that stuff. Dude made an inquiry, comes down the same day, buys the car, all through Facebook Marketplace. Did not cost a penny to sell it on their marketplace.
That's
It
insane.
didn't cost a thing. And I was saying this to my wife the other day. I was like, how powerful Facebook's marketplace is. They've got to realize this and start to charge people, either like eBay does per sale, or just maybe a subscription to use the service, because
or
it works.
like I don't know what way it works for them. Maybe is it more like without them having to even charge? Do they maybe just make the money in like recurring ad revenue and stuff like that, and then like it gives them more ad space essentially for where they can have like them side ads and like in feed ads and stuff like that there?
I don't know, because the marketplace doesn't come up as an ad. It's a complete different thing, ain't it?
Yeah, actually.
So
Unless they allow an ability down the line maybe to market just within that marketplace, or like, you know, sponsor like kind of Gumtree does and stuff. You can have like a
see this, and
sponsored ad.
see this is a thing. It's obviously because you can't like an ad. You don't exactly target who you want.
Yeah.
But there's always people just scrolling on there.
Yeah.
Because you can find some really good stuff on there, right?
Fuck yeah.
And I mean, like I'm finding like estate agents sell houses on the Facebook Marketplace, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing way more car dealerships sell cars. Like I saw a Lamborghini on there the other day for like 125 grand on Facebook Marketplace,
But
right?
you live in London, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's why you're seeing Lamborghinis on it.
Well,
Where
no,
I
no.
live, you're not getting that.
I moved out into, well, I'm technically still London. I'm basically just outside now. It falls under Essex, but it's okay. It's nice. Have you bought your place or are you renting?
No, renting this place for now. We are in the process going to buy, but no, I'm just renting this place.
Yeah. No, same here. I'm renting at the moment.
This girl had this post, and it was like on Instagram, and basically she bought a bungalow. Well, got a mortgage and got a bungalow. Yeah. It was like a bungalow, like a one story, and she had it on like Instagram, like her in front of it, and she's got like the pure sass face on. And the caption was like, "Bought my first house at 21. What's your excuse?" And I was like this close to commenting saying, "What? So your mum and dad give you $8,000 to go and get a deposit for a mortgage, which you're not going to pay off for the next 35 years, and live in a depreciating asset in a depreciating area, and not actually make any money off that?" It's like, thank you, love. I'll wait 3 years and buy a house that I'm going to rent out.
Yeah, dude, spot on, right? Like, it fucking bugs me, but I just don't bother commenting on it because it's just like, you're just pissing in the wind with people like that, right?
It's not worth the argument.
It's not worth your time at all. But like, it's so spot on, right? Like we grew up. I mean, at least my parents, anyway. I don't know if it's just because I'm Asian, but like buying a house is like the single greatest thing you can ever do in your entire existence, right? Alongside being a doctor or a pharmacy, right? So it's like it's so weird because like you're told, right, growing up, like get a good job, buy a house, be in debt, die, probably have just enough because you got to pay to die. Bear in mind, right?
Exactly.
Like if you're skint and you die, it's still a bad thing. So it's still like a no-brainer there, right? So and then it's like, it just doesn't do well for me because I can't get my head around this, right? And I'll implement the same thing into my children one day. First of all, saving up, like now you're not even talking like 10 grand for a deposit. You're not even talking 20 grand, right? Yeah. Like you're talking like by the time you pay for, I mean, we get stamp duty obviously free, technically first time buyers, but still you're probably going to want to do bits to the house. You still got a load of other shit to pay for, like furniture, beds, or whatever's going to go into the house. And it's like you need probably like 40 to 50 grand. Because don't forget, you buy the house and you got to pay it like 3 weeks later as well, right? So it's not like oh yeah. So you basically save up, right? You get these people that live with their parents, save up for like a decade, right? For like 40 to 50 grand,
Yeah.
and then to go, here you go, and then yeah, that's all right. I'm going to pay you in 3 weeks as well. It's like,
Yeah.
how does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Just to say you've got a house, so I'd much rather rent. I want to. I mean, my wife's a bit different because obviously like stability, especially one day when you've got kids. Like it's good to have that stability, but rent where you live and buy where you can rent to others is the
Exactly.
most important thing you can ever hear, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's common. Well, it's not common sense, but it's just smart. Like if you can get a mortgage, buy a house, rent that out for £650 a month, and then live somewhere that costs you 550, it's no brainer.
Just
Like
weigh it out, yeah.
it's
And
very
it's like
simple math.
in our industry as well, like because
Oh
whether
yeah.
you got a mortgage or you're renting, right? Like we don't need an office space. You don't need to go and buy an office. You don't need to pay business rates.
No.
You don't need to employ people in the UK, right? Like why do that out of choice? Um, you don't need that. Like you don't
Yeah.
need that office space. And the good thing is, like we can actually claim our rent or mortgage,
Yeah.
like 20%, right?
Yeah.
So like
20%. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like yeah, like I always say to my wife and in general, like I'd probably advise you. I don't know what your game plan is, but like, everyone's got a different one. But I'd always say like just buy a flat first of all because you don't pay stamp duty, rent
True.
it out, and just rent a bigger place if you need to, and just take off the amount of money. Do you know what I mean? Like take off your 20%, take off your asset for your flat, sell it in like 2 years. And in some sense, if you do that and you sell it in 2 years, you basically get a deposit probably if it's increased to that substantial amount.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the only way these days to actually like be financially free, I think, is just you have to have multiple revenue streams. Like one revenue, like a one regular minimum wage job is never going to cut it. Never mind like being self-employed. Like I'll not feel secure financially until I have like multiple revenue streams and revenue streams that can be affected. Like a marketing agency, I can lose
Yeah,
clients. Brick and mortar, you can very, very rarely go wrong with brick and mortar. You know what I mean? If you get
yeah,
like a nice family house and then you rent out like a nice family house to a family, you've got like a 10-year rental there straight away.
of
Super
course,
easy.
yeah.
Like
And you know what?
it's
Sometimes
just smart.
it's just about bringing a place up to date. Like being our age, like this
Yeah.
having this in my house now, but the whole grey and white theme, right? It's like
This whole apartment, right? We wouldn't have lived here other than what you just said there. They've literally remodernized. It was actually two. It's like one house, and they've actually made it into two like apartments, one downstairs
yeah,
and four upstairs. But we wouldn't live here if it wasn't for the fact that it's like the modern, as you say, grey and white and
yeah,
black
yeah.
and chrome, like
But
handrails and
you know what
glass. It's lovely.
the crazy thing is, yeah, the crazy thing is that you get a lot of these landlords that like put up these places on the market, and it's like you don't realize if they just change the floor and slap a bit of paint on the walls, like you can probably knock it up 100, 200 quid more easily.
Easy, yeah, easy. But landlords don't care, especially here in Swansea. It's a lot of student living. Like there's two universities in Swansea, so it's fucking thousands of students. And
Yeah,
I'll actually like on my street, I could walk out and probably 70% of the houses on my street are actually student houses, like 6, 7 bedroom. They're
fair
massive.
enough.
All the houses around here,
Yeah,
but like they all look shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
They've all got damp. They've all got the same decoration as they had 15 years ago. Like, and if they just went and put a couple of £100, maybe a couple of grand into it, they could easily go from charging 350 to charging 550 a month
Easily, yeah.
easily.
But going back to that revenue thing that you mentioned, dude, I can relate to you so much. It's like an insecurity that I have.
Hmm.
It drives me insane, right? But like I do believe in don't really always get too comfortable,
Yeah.
always be uncomfortable. Um, in a good way, obviously. Don't literally stress yourself out because you get people obviously that do that. But I always feel like I heard it somewhere. There's this guy called Dan Pena. I think I mentioned him to you last time.
I think so.
Um, yeah. Guys in like I don't know, maybe close to his 80s when he is his 70s, right? Ruthless, right? When I say ruthless, like you want to cry. Like so. Long story short, you pay like 15 grand to go to this dude's castle in Scotland. Bear in mind he's American, right? It's got a castle in Scotland, and it's like this whole mentorship. It's only like a week for 15 grand.
Yeah.
And basically, like, if you fuck up on a test, he's throwing you out. Like, your 15 grand ain't being refunded. If you're done. And there was this video, and he had like a Christmas tree, and like it was a big Christmas tree. You know, it had quite a lot of presents underneath, and looks into the camera, and he's like, "If your Christmas tree don't look like this, you're fucking poor." Literally, as raw as that. You are fucking poor. You should be embarrassed. I was like,
Oh shit.
I felt offended, right? I felt offended. And this is where I started to like the guy because of his rawness. It's just, you don't like to hear it, but it gets said to you. And I mean, there's no need to really say something like that, but like
What was his name again? What was his name?
Dan Pena.
Is he like
Guy with glasses, always in like a 3-piece suit.
I think I might have seen this guy, a video this guy done before, and
Yeah.
he said, only because the way you said that, he said something similar. It was like some guy was asked him like, how do you know if you've made enough money or some shit like that, and the guy had basically said, tonight when I leave here, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get on my private jet and I'm gonna fly back across the States just to tuck my daughters into bed and to wake them up in the morning. He says, I'm that rich that I can afford to do that. He says, can you afford to fly home to see your daughters wake up in the morning? And like the guy was like, do you know what?
It just makes you feel like, but you know what the crazy thing is? I think no matter how much money you ever get, right? Like when you become a millionaire, I mean, like this is two things I've learned from this guy. Obviously, first of all, to become a millionaire now, even though I'm not a millionaire yet, I don't know if you are, Johnny. Johnny, you're smashing things.
Not close.
But like, he was like, one thing I agree with is it's never been easier to become a millionaire. But at the same time, the millionaire status, in the sense of getting to just 1 million, is no longer as relevant or important as it was back in the day. Yeah. And like back when we were growing up, like for example, like a house that was worth $1 million was humongous, right? You're like, wow, this is huge. Now it's like a flat above a shop, right? So
yeah,
like the value, right, is just crazy. So I do agree with that. Being a millionaire has never been easier, but at the same time, it doesn't almost have as much value as it used to. Yeah. But at the same time, the more millions you get, you hang around with different people, and you're always going to be at the bottom of a chain, always. No matter when you get to like when you're. I mean, there's a guy called Patrick Bet David. Okay. He's like an Iranian bloke, American. Guy's worth, I think, 200 and something million. And he was sitting down with Mark Cuban. Nice. And when you see the way he was admiring Mark Cuban, was insane. Like you could tell he felt way below Mark Cuban, but admired Mark Cuban. Yeah. Right. And this guy's worth like 200 mil, bear in mind. So you're still like minted. You're done, right? You could die tomorrow and your family could be set up like for a couple of generations. So, that's something that I learned as well. And then what that other guy, I mean, what's his name? Dan Pena. Again, just being raw as well. Like not being a millionaire in this day and age is almost impossible. But also, he also said one stream of income is one step away from poverty, and that hit me hard. That really 100%. Hit hard because it's scary. The more you think about it, the scarier it gets, right? And it freaks me out. It's like it's haunted me ever since I've heard that, because it's so legit. Like you can have one business that's doing like 50 grand a month. That's one business that goes tomorrow. You're done.
Exactly. This is what terrifies me, and this is why I'm trying to just get like this revenue stream and this revenue stream, just little bits here and there, so at least I have a little bit more sort of reassurance that things can't all go tits up on me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you can probably relate to this. I feel like almost every person in the UK growing up that wasn't a millionaire growing up, right? Always like my parents always, like, the rich were bad. Like it was like, oh, this is for the rich. Oh, the rich only benefit in this, but the poor suffer in this. And like growing up, like it's like, why hate the rich, right? Like obviously, when you're growing up, you don't really give a shit. But like, now you're at this age, it's like, why do you hate the rich?
I have this argument with so many people, and people get very, very.
It bugs me, dude. It bugs me
upset about it, because I try to make this point to people like, your problem isn't like your neighbor who makes 6 figures, right? Like someone who makes $1 million a year isn't your problem. I'm like, your real problem is like the Jeff Bezos and like the Rothschilds, and like your problem is like super millionaires, right? They're the like fucking like systematic problems, and like they're the ones doing this and that, and they're the ones puppeteering the fucking world. Like
Mm.
ultra millionaires, right? Billionaires and like the ultra elites, they are the real issue. Like your neighbor who makes six figures is not a problem, right? There's
It's true, yeah.
that person's probably doing more for the community making that six figures than one of these super billionaires ever be. So why hate on someone that's trying to make more money to better the area and to better their own community? Like why hate
Yeah,
someone within your own
you
community?
see another thing is like you mentioned Jeff Bezos as well, right? Like I agree with you on that. But like another thing that I still also feel that just applies to anyone that is considered rich, because like a lot of people can consider someone rich just making six figures,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't mean you're rich. Someone could consider someone making seven figures rich. Doesn't mean you're rich. Could be making eight figures, then you're rich. Like everyone's got a different level of rich, right? I
Exactly.
mean, like I'd say I've got to that stage where my idea of rich is just being financially free.
100%.
That's literally it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to be worth X amount of millions. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
But like, in between that, I just want to be financially free. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key thing. But like a lot of people, like, I think you just got to learn to. The way I see it is, the people that are richer than you or like big time billionaires, they all were born and grew up without not being a billionaire, right? I mean, minus Trump. Uh, so in that perspective, it's like, don't hate them. They just learned how to play the game. That's literally it. Because as we're business owners, like, don't get me wrong, I try to like pay as less tax as I possibly can,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
But that doesn't make me a bad person. It's just because paying for taxes of good old Boris, right, at this moment in time, it's like it's not benefiting the country, right? Like, and I'm still paying tax, but wherever there's a loophole that you can legally go through,
Mm-hmm.
why would I just be like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I want to pay more money to the government.
Yeah,
It's like tax is the biggest fraud
100%.
in the entire world. It's the biggest scam in the entire world. But like, you can't avoid it.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to
It's
say
like,
one thing you'd said a minute ago about that being rich. There was weirdly, I'd only watched this like the other day, and there was this video, and it was basically the quote was Bob Marley, and it was Bob Marley, and an interviewer basically said to him, like, Bob, are you rich? Do you have a lot of money in the bank? And he said, what do you mean, am I rich? Like, is money the only thing that you consider for richness, for riches?
mm,
He says, I am rich. He said, but money doesn't come into it. I'm rich on life.
yeah. Do
And
you know what
that's
other people get offended
great.
by? Yeah, that is really, really key. And I think that's so important. You know, a lot of people get offended if someone say they're rich though. I've noticed that. Like
Yeah.
if you go out and you talk to someone and you're like, yeah, I'm wealthy. Like, I'm okay. Like that's bad. You can't say that. That's really
Yep.
bad. Like you're scum at that point,
You're
right?
rubbing it in.
Yeah, like the second you say that, it's like you're scum. And I think, like, I mean, it's never going to change, but like society is so messed up, and it's like it really is messed up. Like we'll never get out of that loophole. But the people that say, "Oh, like, I hate the rich" and so forth, like, you're lying to yourself if you say you don't want to be rich. It's like, just be honest with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because the only person in between that status and you is yourself. Like, there is nothing else,
Yeah.
and it just applies to every single aspect. Like, I mean, going back to the house situation, if you want to save up 50 grand to then put 50 grand down and you're back to zero and then you got to make that payment 3 weeks later, so be it, right?
Yeah.
But don't talk about everyone else that don't own a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a dumb move. And then you get people that are like, the same people will say, no, don't invest in the stock market, it's gambling.
Yeah.
Don't invest in cryptocurrency, it's gambling. Or I'm buying a fucking house isn't gambling, right? Because
Exactly.
we're going into a double dip recession now,
Yeah.
which I saw. Yeah,
So
I mean, this is great. This is great for us. Like,
yeah.
I'm excited for this. I'm really over the moon, right? in a good and bad way. I mean, I think first of all, like, Boris needs to address things the right way, like, because the people that work jobs in general and they're struggling as it is, I think it's just so sad and depressing to hear.
Oh yeah.
Because you get people like it. I did see a good thing. It's like lockdowns for some people are just relaxing, still earning money, hanging out with their family, whereas other people it's depression, anxiety, not being able to pay their bills. And I'm like, this is like spot on. But what the fuck does the government do, right? guys start handing out 50 grand loans to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, are you serious? Like what? And they rejected that whole thing. What that Rashford was doing, of course, with the child
School meals.
meals. That's disgusting.
That's
That's
the
disgusting.
problem. And then the same, what, a week later, they said they were giving out like 360 million in bonuses to all the MPs. Like
It's disgusting. Like
it
it's,
doesn't.
and do you know what the scary thing is? Like, it's right in front of our faces, yet no one can do anything. Like we know these rules, and what Boris has done about this lockdown is pathetic. Like the logic behind it, like you go into a restaurant, oh shit, like wear your mask. Okay, what do I do when I get to the table? Take off your mask.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so what's the logic, right? Like we know it's like stupid, yet
Yeah.
it's like we're all being controlled to follow it.
See, this is the problem that I have. Like, I always think like I think I just have some sort of like little god complex that just isn't, you know, fully formed yet. But like, I don't think I'm smarter than everyone. I just think more. I just think I'm more logical than a lot of people is the problem. Where like
Yeah,
this situation here where everyone's going mad and everyone's got A problem, B problem, and C problem with the government right now. And I wrote stats about it yesterday. I was like, guys, like, you know, you don't have to follow a government. Like, you know,
yeah, I see your post on that. Yeah,
yeah, it's like, you know, if we just all took anarchist action, if we stopped abiding by what we say, don't be stupid, right? Some people are at risk. I'll wear a mask if I go to Tesco because it doesn't affect me, right? But I'm
yeah.
not
I mean,
going
like
to
what
dig
like, the
anyone
only
else
thing.
out.
Exactly. The only thing you lose out, right, is if it turned out it was all like a myth, right? The only thing you've basically lost out on is the fact you had to wear a bit of material in your face.
Yeah, I
Right.
looked a bit silly. In fact, I don't even, because I got a nice black one
Well,
with a logo on it. It matches
yeah,
now.
nice. Now it feels like uniform, right? Like it's just normal. But like again, like don't be so selfish if you know there's elderly, right? It's like the same thing with
This is
cleaning
it.
shelves. Watch on Thursday, right? They're gonna be empty. I
Mhm.
guarantee you. People are so stupid.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, I didn't understand, like, at the start as well. Toilet roll and pasta was running out. Me and my missus went to the school, like, because we live week to week. Because at the time I was working in a bar, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
paycheck to paycheck, and we went to go shopping, and there was like fuck all there, and she started getting a bit panicked, and even I was kind of like, all right, this is a bit fucking weird, right? Like
yeah,
I was more concerned that everyone else was losing their mind. I wasn't worried about the pandemic. I was like, watch what happens when social anarchy reigns supreme and everyone fucking goes mad. But
yeah.
then all this panic, and we went to like 4 big stores to try and get some like regular stuff to keep in. And then we got home. I went to the little like shop beside us, a little 24-hour shop. Walked in, and there was shelves of pasta, and there was toilet roll, and like
Yeah, so some of those guys were a
it
bit of
hadn't been
arseholes. Yeah, some
touched.
some of those small little corner shops start bumping up their prices as
Oh,
well, which
did they?
was
Oh, they didn't do that where I live.
yeah,
Yeah, they'd have been
yeah.
fucking
They
burnt
don't
out where I live.
no, they done it where I live, and there's like a really good Facebook community group, and they hammered this shop down like really
Yeah.
badly, and yeah, like the guy had to actually come out and make an apology on the group for like what he'd done and everything, and then like in return he started like delivering free essentials to the elderly, and
Had to,
I
or
was
his
like,
business was
because I
fucked.
was like, you know, like kudos to you, I guess, right? Like it's a good thing to do, but still, like the way he just got torn apart for it
Mm-hmm.
was insane. But
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, going back to that Dan Pena real quick, like definitely check him out more. Like he
Yeah.
says, because he has this survey, right, that he gives out to people that pay like the 15 grand for the
Right.
course. And a part of that survey is like, what do you do like if someone like spat on your wife or your mum in front of you, right?
I'd be in jail.
Yeah. And he goes, like, a lot of people at that moment, like they know what they would do, yet they kind of like avoid what they would do. So he goes, they were really shocked by the result. It's like they would, the majority of them ticked the box that said they'd sit down with the person and see what was going through their mind, what's affecting them, and try and help them.
I'm a
And
nice
he's
person,
like,
but I'm not that
yeah,
fucking nice.
and then Pena goes, I can spit on their wife. I was
Yeah,
like,
I burned their house down.
exactly, like, and he goes, it's just the basic logic and morals that people in this day and age like are weird about. It's
Mm,
really weird. It's
yeah.
really
I
weird.
mean, I'm not I'm not aggressive, right? I'm not an aggressive person. I just have like a very short, like I'm Irish. We have like a very short like snap level, right? So like, you know when like you're in Tesco at the minute and you've got like lines on the floor and there's fucking arrows and people don't understand it. Well, like if I'm standing there and someone just walks straight past me, I'll be like, is she fucking having a laugh? Like,
Yeah,
and my missus is like, she fucking. Like the other day, some woman walks straight towards me, and like there's arrows. It's fucking one way. It's only like a little fucking arcade that goes down between two shops.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 2 fucking lanes, love. You can't get around. And she comes walking, and she's walking straight at me, just
Yeah.
looking at. And
Yeah,
I moved out of the way, and I was like, is she fucking having a laugh? Not a big fucking arrows on the floor. You can't. And she was like, oh, was I going the wrong way? I went, you fucking where? Open your eyes. Okay, so that is it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of a different one, as I said. Obviously, being a phone call, not being just a straight podcast. The video versions will be back from next week, so you'll be able to go and watch the video version as well as listen to the audio version on the audio platforms. As usual, guys, please, again, hit like, hit subscribe, follow the podcast on your audio platforms, and subscribe to YouTube. It is appreciated, and I will catch you next week.
Hello guys, how you doing? It's me, Jack, mate. You've just finished watching probably one of the best videos on YouTube. So why not take a moment to consider subscribing? And if you haven't already, hit the like button and turn the notification bell on. Apparently it helps. I don't know how. It was good enough, wasn't it?